Coach, with the recent Sports Illustrated feature, how did that bring attention to the team, and what was the message that you were hoping to convey to the rest of the world?
I think the biggest thing from the Sports Illustrated article is the fact that the things that we've been doing for a long time, now the world knows. The world has been put on notice that Howard University Swimming and Diving is alive, it is thriving, it is representing all HBCUs currently as the lone swimming and diving program in all of NCAA competition, and that we're doing well. And there are even more great things that will be in our future.
The atmosphere is so rich. You guys have a very unique atmosphere, a lot of support. Talk about how special it is just to see the amount of students and alums that come and support you all at each meet.
It's unreal and it's unmatched. We always say that at our home events, there's no other competitive swimming environment in the collegiate level that's like ours. We are able to produce something that is super special because, number one, as an only HBCU swimming and diving program, majority of our team and all of our team is African American or from the African diaspora. So couple that with the fact that the majority of people that are in the stands are also black and brown. You don't have that anywhere else. And you think about 65% of African Americans have limited or no swimming ability. Most of the people in the stands, when they first started coming to our meets, didn't know the difference between the doggy paddle and the breaststroke. To see the difference that just being able to get information out there, to be able to be a representation of what could be, is extraordinary. The thing at our meets is we're very conscious about the environment. It's sport, and we know that as coming up in the swimming world, that unless you're a swim parent or a swimmer, swim meets can be boring. They're long, they're hot, and if you don't know what's going on, it's hard to stay engaged and hard to continue to pay attention. Which is why we have an on deck DJ at all of our home meets, keeping the vibe really live, the energy going in, within the competitions. We also have a food vendor. What sporting event is not better with popcorn or, something like that or some type of refreshment? So we paid a lot of attention to that. And the thing that I also told my team from the very beginning is we have to make sure that we're producing a product that is worth watching, right? Is worthwhile. So because swimming is a pure sport, it's as simple as who touches the wall first. People will understand that even if they didn't know, okay, how many laps did they swim or what stroke did they do? They can see if we touch the wall first, they know that we won. And that really excites the crowd. It keeps them going. And when the crowd is going even more, it makes us swim faster and dive better.
Now, Coach, Howard is the only HBCU in the nation with a swim program currently. What kind of pressure does this come with to be a representation for other HBCUs and aspiring Black swimmers as you compete against top predominantly white schools?
Yeah, I mean, being in sports, you're no stranger to pressure. That's just landscape of the discipline that we're in. We like to look at it more of a responsibility. We have an obligation to the culture to be that representation in a place that people of color were denied access. And I'm a firm believer if you can see it, then you can achieve it. So being able to have our young women and young men of color being that representation, standing on the block or being on the pool deck or in the pool competing at such a high level, that's going to inspire future generations. I mean, we've seen the evidence of it. You take a look at the Williams effect in tennis, right? Serena and Venus Williams, and how they've inspired so many black and brown little girls and little boys. The same can be done and has been done in the sport of swimming. When you look at Olympians like Maritza Correa McClendon or Cullen Jones and their effect on the numbers, but it's just not enough to with one or two people, even at that highest level. We're trying to be that everyday household name of Howard University Swimming and Diving, and hopefully, prayerfully encourage other HBCUs to bring their programs back. Because prior to the early 90s, there were several HBCUs that had programs and that were thriving. They used to compete in the tri-state championships and the CIAA, as well as there was a black national championship in the 60s and 70s. and there were at least 20 plus HBCUs that had programs, but because of the integration of the schools, the top Black talent went on to be able to now having the option to go to any school. And then, of course, you have the myth that Black people don't swim, which is in a lot of the minds of our leadership who are making the decisions of whether or not to continue a program or whether or not to cement in a pool at an HBCU because they think or they've bought into the myth that Black people don't swim. So we're hoping to be that beacon. We're hoping to be that light that you can have a thriving program at an HBCU. And we're striving every day to be that representation.